When you think about learning English, I know what often comes to mind: fear, doubt, and the thought that maybe it's too hard or too late. You see others speaking fluently, and you wonder if you'll ever reach that level. But let me tell you something: learning English fast and easy is possible when you stop making it complicated and start making it personal. Think of English not as a subject in school, but as a tool for your life, your dreams, your opportunities. Every new word you learn is not just vocabulary, it's a step closer to expressing yourself, a step closer to connecting with the world. Too often, we hold ourselves back because we are afraid of making mistakes. But mistakes are not failures. They are proof that you are trying. Every wrong sentence you speak, every moment of hesitation is shaping your fluency. When you were a child, you didn't learn your first language through grammar books or formal lessons. You learned it by listening, repeating, and speaking, even if the words were broken. That same natural process can guide you now. Listen as much as you can: songs, movies, conversations. Repeat them until they become part of your mind. Speak, even if you think your accent isn't perfect, because fluency is not about perfection, it's about confidence. The secret is consistency, not intelligence. If you give just 30 minutes every day to English, you will transform yourself faster than you can imagine. Don't wait for the perfect teacher or the perfect environment. You already have the world in your pocket with your phone. Use it. Surround yourself with English. Write your thoughts. Record your voice. Talk to yourself. Talk to others. Slowly, you will feel the fear melt away and the words will start flowing. Learning English fast and easy isn't about shortcuts, it's about mindset. If you see it as a burden, it will always feel heavy. But if you see it as a bridge to new friends, new ideas, new opportunities, then every step you take will feel exciting. The key is not to compare yourself with anyone else, but to keep moving forward, even if it's small progress. Remember this: every master once struggled like you. They were laughed at, corrected, even discouraged, but they kept going, and that's why they succeeded. And so can you. English is not for smart people or lucky people. It's for those who believe they can and who refuse to give up. So don't let fear or doubt control you. Believe in yourself, take action today, and let your journey to English fluency be filled not with stress, but with courage, curiosity, and hope. When people think about learning English, the first thing that often stops them from progressing is not a lack of time, not a lack of resources, but a deep fear of making mistakes. This fear is so powerful that it keeps countless learners silent, even when they know the words, even when they have practiced for years. They hesitate to open their mouths because they are terrified of being judged, corrected, or even laughed at. But here is the truth: every single person who speaks English fluently today has gone through the exact same process of making mistakes. There is no exception. No one in this world started speaking English perfectly from the beginning. Mistakes are not proof of failure. They are the greatest evidence that you are trying, and they are the stepping stones toward fluency. Think about how you learned your first language. Did you learn it by being perfect from the start? Of course not. You spoke broken sentences, you mispronounced words, you mixed grammar, and sometimes nobody even understood you. But your family clapped, encouraged you, and corrected you gently. That is how you became fluent. Why then do we treat English differently? Why do we punish ourselves for the same natural process of learning? The truth is, every mistake you make in English is a sign that you are alive in the language, that you are not just studying it in silence, but actually living it, practicing it, breathing it. Without mistakes, there is no growth. The most successful learners in the world are not the ones who avoided mistakes, but the ones who embraced them. They saw each mistake as feedback, as information, as a teacher in disguise. When you make a mistake, you learn what not to do next time. When you avoid mistakes by staying silent, you learn nothing. Imagine two people. One speaks English every day, makes hundreds of small mistakes, and keeps moving forward. The other stays quiet, afraid of sounding wrong. After 6 months, the first person is speaking confidently, while the second is still at the same level, maybe even worse. Who would you rather be? The one who tried and stumbled, or the one who never tried at all? You have to remember that the people you are speaking to are not perfect either. Even native speakers make mistakes in grammar, spelling, and pronunciation. They don't stop speaking because of it. So why should you? Perfection is an illusion that will only slow you down. Communication is the real goal. If someone understands your message, then your English has done its job, even if your grammar wasn't perfect. Think about this. If you are thirsty in another country and you say, I want water, instead of, could I please have a glass of water? Does it matter? You got your water. You communicated. That is success. Fear of mistakes comes from judgment. Maybe you've been laughed at in the past, or maybe someone corrected you harshly and it hurt, but you cannot let that memory control your future. Those who laugh are not better than you. They just don't see your courage. Remember, it takes bravery to speak in another language. Every time you open your mouth in English, you are proving your strength. People who laugh are sitting in comfort, but you are stepping into growth. Which is more valuable, comfort or growth? Always choose growth. There is also a hidden gift in mistakes. They make you memorable. When you say something incorrectly, your brain feels a little embarrassed, and that emotion burns the correct form into your memory. You will never forget it. That is why sometimes the lessons you remember the most are the ones that came from the biggest mistakes. So instead of running away from errors, welcome them. They are your teachers, your reminders, your guides. They will shape your fluency in ways that no textbook ever could. Let me give you an example. Imagine a person learning English who says, I am boring, instead of, I am bored. People laugh, but guess what? That person will never confuse those two words again. The mistake made the lesson permanent. Another person, too afraid to speak, never tries the sentence. They avoid embarrassment, but they also avoid learning. Who will win in the long run? Always the one who dared to be wrong. You have to train your mindset to see mistakes differently. Instead of thinking, oh no, I sound stupid, think, great, I found another way to improve. Instead of saying, people are laughing at me, tell yourself, they are helping me remember this lesson forever. Instead of feeling ashamed, feel proud that you were brave enough to try. The fastest learners are not the smartest. They are the ones with the strongest mindset. So every time you speak, remind yourself, mistakes are not the enemy. They are the proof that you are alive in the process, that you are moving forward, that you are transforming yourself into the person who will one day speak English without fear. The more mistakes you make, the more progress you create. Silence may feel safe, but it builds nothing. Speaking, even imperfectly, builds everything. When you look at a child learning their first language, something magical is happening. They are not sitting with a grammar book, they are not memorizing vocabulary lists, and they are not worried about whether their accent is correct. They are simply listening, repeating, and slowly building their ability to speak. This is the most natural way humans learn any language, and it works every single time. The secret is not that children are smarter than adults, it's that they are fearless, curious, and consistent in their learning. If you want to learn English fast and easy, you must return to that childlike way of learning. Think about it. A baby spends months just listening before speaking. They listen to the voices around them, the sounds, the tone, the rhythm of the language. Without realizing it, they are absorbing everything. Then one day, they try their first words. Those first words are not complete sentences. They are broken, mispronounced, sometimes even funny. But nobody expects a child to be perfect. Everyone celebrates the effort, claps for the attempt, and encourages them to try again. That encouragement builds confidence, and slowly, those broken words turn into fluent speech. As adults, we often make learning difficult for ourselves. We think we need to memorize hundreds of grammar rules before we can even start speaking. We tell ourselves, I will speak when I am ready. But the truth is, you will never feel ready until you start. The childlike way of learning is simple. Listen a lot, repeat what you hear, and practice speaking, even if it is imperfect. If you follow this, your brain will start to recognize patterns naturally, just like it did when you learned your first language. Listening is the foundation. The more English you hear, the more your mind becomes familiar with it. Watch movies, listen to podcasts, hear songs, pay attention to how people actually use the language in real situations. Don't worry if you don't understand every word at first. When you were a child, you didn't understand every word your parents said either. But your brain is powerful. It learns through exposure. The more you surround yourself with English, the more your brain will absorb. After listening comes repeating. When you hear a sentence, don't just let it pass. Pause and say it out loud. Imitate the way it was spoken, the rhythm, the tone, the speed. Don't just repeat the words. Repeat the music of the language. This is how you train your tongue and your ear to work together. A child repeats the same word hundreds of times without shame. They will say, mama, 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 until it sticks. You need that same persistence. Repeat sentences you like, phrases that inspire you, lines from your favorite movie. Turn your practice into a playful activity, not a stressful one. Then comes speaking. The more you try to speak, the more confident you will become. And just like a child, you don't need to start with perfect grammar. A child says, me want toy. Everyone understands it. With time, it becomes, I want a toy. In the same way, you might start with simple broken English like, I go market or I want food. People will understand you. Over time, your sentences will naturally improve as you hear more and more correct patterns. But you cannot skip the stage of broken speech because that stage is the bridge to fluency. One of the biggest differences between adults and children is fear. Children are not embarrassed when they speak wrong. They laugh, they try again, and they keep going. Adults, on the other hand, fear judgment so much that they avoid speaking altogether. But avoiding speaking is like refusing to walk because you are afraid of falling. A child falls hundreds of times before learning to walk, but they don't quit. They keep trying because their goal is not perfection, but movement. Your goal in English must also be movement, step by step, word by word, sentence by sentence. You must allow yourself to make English a part of your daily life the way children do. A child doesn't study their language only in a classroom. They use it everywhere, in the playground, at home, in conversation, in play. You must create that environment for yourself. Talk to yourself in English while doing simple tasks. Describe what you are doing. I am cooking rice. I am walking to the shop. I am writing notes. It may sound silly, but this is how children practice, through constant interaction with the world around them. The more you practice, the more natural English will feel to you. Another powerful part of learning like a child is curiosity. Children ask endless questions. They are not afraid of looking foolish. They want to know, what is this? Why is that? You must reignite that same curiosity. Don't be shy to ask questions when you don't understand something in English. Don't be afraid to search for meanings, to ask for explanations, to repeat something until it makes sense. Curiosity will push you forward faster than memorization ever could. Finally, remember that children don't put pressure on themselves. They don't say, I must learn 1,000 words this month. They simply enjoy the process, and because of that, they keep going. Enjoyment is a powerful motivator. If you enjoy English, you will learn it naturally. Watch the shows you love, listen to music that excites you, read books that inspire you. Turn your learning into a joy, not a burden. When you adopt this childlike method of learning, you will see your fear disappear. You will stop thinking of English as a subject and start living it as a language. The more you listen, repeat, and speak naturally, the faster it will become part of you. And when it becomes part of you, fluency is no longer a dream. It is your reality. When it comes to learning English, many people believe that only those who are naturally talented, highly intelligent, or gifted with a sharp memory can succeed. But the reality is very different. Talent alone cannot guarantee fluency. Intelligence alone cannot make you speak with confidence. What truly separates those who master English from those who give up is not how smart they are, but how consistent they are. Consistency is the real secret, because small actions repeated every single day create results far greater than occasional big efforts. If you want to learn English fast and easy, you must make it a daily habit, something so natural in your life that missing it feels strange. Think about this. If you study English for 10 hours once a month, it may look impressive, but you will forget most of what you learned before the next month comes. But if you study just 30 minutes every day, without fail, your progress will be steady, your memory will stay fresh, and your confidence will grow naturally. This is the same principle you see in fitness. Going to the gym once a year for 12 hours will not make you healthy, but exercising 30 minutes daily will transform your body. The same applies to English. Your fluency depends not on how much you do it once, but on how often you do it. Consistency is also about building trust with yourself. When you commit to practicing every day, even in small ways, you prove to yourself that you are serious. Many learners lose confidence not because English is difficult, but because they keep breaking promises to themselves. They say, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll practice when I have time. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and suddenly they feel stuck, believing English is impossible. But the truth is, English is not impossible. It was simply ignored too often. The moment you choose to be consistent, the moment you decide that even on your busiest days, you will give at least a few minutes to English, you take back control. Another beautiful thing about consistency is that it reduces fear. The more you do something, the less intimidating it becomes. Imagine speaking English once in a while. Every time you do it, you feel nervous because it is unfamiliar. But if you speak every single day, even to yourself, your mind begins to relax, your tongue begins to move more freely, and your confidence grows automatically. The repetition turns fear into familiarity, and familiarity turns into comfort. Soon you don't even think about it, you just speak. Consistency also builds momentum. At first, daily practice may feel slow, as if nothing is changing. But just like drops of water filling a bucket, the results are building silently. Then one day, you surprise yourself, you watch a movie and understand more than before, or you have a conversation and the words flow more easily. That moment of realization only comes because you stayed consistent. The people who quit too soon never experience that breakthrough. They stop before the results can appear. But those who keep going, even on days when they feel lazy, eventually taste the reward of their persistence. You must also understand that consistency doesn't mean doing the same thing every day in a boring routine. It means staying connected with English daily, in any form. Some days you might watch a short video, other days you might write a journal entry, listen to a song, practice speaking aloud, or learn 5 new words. The method can change, but the commitment to touch English every single day must remain. This keeps learning exciting and prevents burnout. Children don't learn their first language by doing the same exercise every day. They learn by mixing play, listening, speaking, and living the language. You can do the same. Many learners waste energy waiting for the right time to learn English. They say, "I'll practice when I have more free time," or "I'll start seriously after exams, after work, after life becomes less busy." But life never slows down. There will always be responsibilities, challenges, distractions. If you wait for the perfect time, you will wait forever. Consistency is about practicing even when life is busy. Even if you only manage 10 minutes, those 10 minutes matter. They keep your brain connected to English, and that daily connection is far more powerful than hours of irregular study. Consistency also strengthens discipline. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. At first, practicing daily may feel difficult, but over time it becomes easier because your mind and body get used to the rhythm. Soon, English becomes part of your identity. You no longer say, "I am trying to learn English." Instead, you say, "I learn English every day." That small change in identity is the key to lasting success. Look at the most successful people in any field. They are not always the most talented, but they are always the most consistent. An ordinary person who practices daily will always outperform a genius who practices occasionally. This truth applies to athletes, musicians, writers, and yes, to English learners as well. Consistency beats talent because consistency builds skills, while talent without effort fades. Every day you practice, even for a short time, you are moving closer to fluency. Every day you skip, you are standing still. Imagine 2 learners starting at the same time. One studies a little each day, while the other studies only when they feel like it. After a year, the first learner is speaking confidently, while the second is still struggling. The difference was not intelligence, it was consistency. So, if you truly want to master English, don't focus on giant leaps. Focus on small steps, repeated every day. Your consistency will create habits, your habits will create fluency, and your fluency will open doors you never imagined. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to learn English is that they limit their practice only to classrooms, study sessions, or specific times of the day. They treat English as a subject instead of a part of their life. But the truth is, language is not something you just study. It is something you live. If you want to learn English fast and easy, you must surround yourself with it in such a way that it becomes part of your daily environment, as natural as breathing. The more you immerse yourself in English, the faster your brain adapts. The easier words flow, and the sooner fear disappears. Think of how you learned your first language. You didn't sit at a desk with a dictionary. You were surrounded by it all the time. Your parents spoke it, your friends used it, you heard it on TV, in the streets, in your home. That constant exposure shaped your mind without you even realizing it. The same principle works for English. If you create an environment where English is always around you, your learning will become effortless. You will not have to force yourself. Your brain will start absorbing it naturally. Surrounding yourself with English means making small changes in your everyday life. For example, change the language setting on your phone to English. Every time you unlock it, you'll see words, phrases, and instructions in English. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, but soon those small interactions build your vocabulary. Do the same with your laptop, your apps, and your social media. Imagine scrolling through your feed and seeing English posts, comments, and articles. Without realizing it, you'll start thinking in English. Another powerful way to immerse yourself is through entertainment. Instead of watching movies in your own language, switch to English. If it feels difficult, turn on subtitles. At first, your mind will struggle, but gradually you'll start recognizing words, sentences, and expressions. The same goes for music. Songs in English are not just entertainment, they are lessons disguised as melody. When you sing along, you are practicing pronunciation, rhythm, and vocabulary. The beauty of this method is that it doesn't feel like studying. It feels like fun, yet your brain is working hard in the background. Reading is another way to keep English around you. Start small, maybe headlines, short articles, or even captions on social media. Then move to blogs, magazines, and eventually books. Don't pressure yourself to understand every single word. Even if you understand the general idea, your brain is building connections. Over time, words that once looked confusing will become familiar friends. Speaking is also a crucial part of surrounding yourself with English. If you don't have people around you to practice with, don't let that be an excuse. Talk to yourself out loud. Describe what you're doing. I am cooking rice. I am cleaning the room. I am preparing for tomorrow. This simple practice trains your mind to think in English. Record your voice, listen to it, and notice the improvements. You can also find language partners online, join forums, or participate in social media groups where people practice English together. Technology has removed all barriers. You are never alone in this journey if you choose to connect. Surrounding yourself with English also means changing how you think. Instead of translating everything from your native language, start training your brain to think directly in English. This may feel slow at first, but it's a powerful habit. For example, if you see a chair, don't say the word in your language and then translate it. Just say chair. When you feel hungry, don't think I am hungry in your language and then translate it. Say it in English immediately. This shift may seem small, but it speeds up fluency dramatically. Another strategy is to keep reminders of English around you. Stick notes on your wall with new words or phrases. Write affirmations in English on your mirror. Set daily reminders with motivational quotes in English on your phone. These small touches keep the language alive in your environment and constantly remind you of your goal. It's also important to surround yourself with people who encourage your English journey. If you have friends who want to improve too, practice together. Agree to speak only English for certain hours of the day. If you don't have such friends nearby, connect with online communities. Today, you can join virtual groups where people from different countries come together just to practice English. That kind of environment not only improves your skills, but also builds your confidence because you realize you are not alone. Immersion is powerful because it makes English unavoidable. If every part of your life is touched by the language, your phone, your music, your reading, your conversations, then your brain has no choice but to adapt. At first, it may feel overwhelming, but soon it becomes natural. Just like living in a foreign country forces you to learn, creating your own English country at home can have the same effect. The truth is, fluency doesn't come only from study, it comes from lifestyle. You cannot learn swimming by reading about it. You must jump into the water. Similarly, you cannot master English by only studying grammar. You must live in English every day. Surrounding yourself with it is how you jump into the water of fluency. And once you do, you'll find yourself swimming naturally. One of the biggest traps learners fall into is the obsession with grammar. They believe that unless every sentence is correct, they should not speak at all. They wait until they feel perfect before opening their mouths, and as a result, they stay silent for years. But the truth is this: grammar does not make you fluent. Confidence does. People don't connect with your grammar. They connect with your words, your tone, your emotion, and your willingness to communicate. Grammar is important, yes, but it should never come before confidence. Fluency is not about speaking perfectly. It is about speaking bravely. Imagine two learners. The first one has studied grammar rules for years. They know the difference between past perfect and present perfect. They can identify conditional sentences, and they can correct others' mistakes. But when it comes time to speak, they freeze. They are afraid of being wrong, so they say nothing. The second learner, however, knows only simple grammar, maybe even broken sentences, but they speak confidently. I go park. I want learn English. You help me? The sentences are not perfect, but the message is clear, and because they are speaking, they are practicing, improving, and growing. After 6 months, who will be closer to fluency, the silent grammar expert or the confident speaker? Always the one who dares to speak. Confidence is the bridge between knowledge and communication. You may have the knowledge inside you, but without confidence, it stays locked. You must give yourself permission to speak boldly, even when your sentences are not perfect. Remember, the goal of language is communication, not perfection. If someone understands you, you have succeeded. Think about it. When you travel and ask for directions in broken English, and someone guides you correctly, does it matter that your grammar was wrong? No, because you achieved your purpose. Language is a tool, and tools are meant to be used, not kept in a box waiting to be polished. Confidence is also what creates opportunities. Employers, friends, teachers, and strangers are not impressed by perfect grammar. They are impressed by courage, clarity, and willingness to communicate. If you speak confidently, people listen to you. Even if your sentences are simple, your energy convinces them. On the other hand, if you speak with perfect grammar but no confidence, your words lose power. People are drawn to confidence, not perfection. The fear of speaking incorrectly is what keeps many learners trapped. They imagine others laughing at them, judging them, or correcting them. But here's the truth. People don't care as much as you think. Most of the time, they are impressed that you are even trying. If someone does laugh, remember that it says more about their insecurity than your ability. You are doing something brave. They are sitting in comfort. Who has more strength in that situation? Always you. The beautiful thing about confidence is that it grows the more you use it. At first, speaking may feel terrifying. Your heart beats faster, your hands shake, your mind races. But every time you speak, even with mistakes, your brain learns, I survived. It wasn't so bad. Slowly, your fear decreases. After a while, speaking feels natural and you don't think twice about it. Grammar will catch up later, but without confidence, grammar never gets the chance to grow. Confidence also changes the way people respond to you. When you speak with hesitation, people lose interest quickly. But when you speak with energy, even if your words are simple, people lean in and listen. They respect the effort, and they often encourage you. This positive feedback pushes you forward, creating a cycle of growth. The more you speak, the more confident you become. The more confident you become, the better your English gets. Think about children again. They don't wait until they know grammar before speaking. They just talk, laugh, and keep going. And because of that, they improve quickly. Adults complicate the process by adding fear. But if you return to that childlike boldness, you will see your English improve in ways that grammar books alone can never provide. Confidence gives you practice, and practice gives you fluency. Even the greatest speakers in the world make mistakes. Politicians, leaders, celebrities, they sometimes forget words, mix grammar, or mispronounce things. But people don't stop listening because of it. Why? Because they speak with confidence and their message is clear. If they can stand on a stage with millions watching and still make mistakes, why should you be afraid in a small conversation? Mistakes do not destroy your image, fear does. The truth is, you can always correct grammar later, but you cannot build confidence overnight. Confidence must be trained daily. Every time you speak, you are training it like a muscle. Every conversation is a workout. Every sentence, even broken ones, is progress. The learners who speak often, even imperfectly, will always improve faster than those who hide behind grammar rules. So instead of asking yourself, is my grammar correct? Ask yourself, did I try to communicate? That question matters more. Instead of worrying, will they laugh at me? Ask yourself, am I brave enough to open my mouth? That bravery will take you further than any textbook. Grammar is the polish, but confidence is the foundation. Without the foundation, the polish means nothing. With the foundation, the polish will come naturally over time. When you stop chasing perfection and start chasing confidence, your relationship with English changes completely. You no longer see it as something that controls you, you see it as something you control, and that shift is where real fluency begins. The way you see English in your mind decides how fast and how easily you will learn it. If you see it as a burden, something heavy that you are forced to carry, then every step of the journey will feel difficult. You will sit down to study and feel pressure instead of excitement. You will count your mistakes like failures instead of lessons. You will always feel that English is against you. But if you shift your mindset and start seeing English as a bridge, something that connects you to new worlds, new opportunities, and new people, then every effort you make will feel lighter, more exciting, and more rewarding. Your mindset is the lens through which you experience learning, and when you change the lens, you change the entire journey. Think about what English really represents. It is not just words, grammar, or vocabulary. It is a tool that can open doors to knowledge, travel, careers, friendships, and dreams. When you speak English, you are not just communicating, you are unlocking access to millions of people across the globe. You are giving yourself the chance to connect with stories, cultures, and ideas that were once out of your reach. In this way, English is not a burden you carry. It is a bridge you walk on toward the life you desire. Too many learners focus only on the difficulties. The grammar is too hard. The accent is too different. The vocabulary is endless. And yes, learning a language takes effort, but so does anything valuable in life. Walking across a bridge may feel long, but what matters is where it leads. If the other side of the bridge is filled with opportunities, would you complain about the steps, or would you keep walking with hope in your heart? That is exactly how you must see English. Every word you learn is a step forward on the bridge. Every mistake you make is still part of the journey. Every practice session, no matter how small, is moving you closer to that new world on the other side. Changing your mindset also means removing the idea of punishment from learning. Many people punish themselves when they forget a word or when they cannot form a sentence correctly. They say things like, "I am not good enough," or "I will never learn this." That negative thinking makes the journey heavier. But if you replace those thoughts with encouragement, "I am improving every day. I spoke better today than yesterday. I am getting closer to fluency," you start enjoying the process. Your brain works better when it feels positive, motivated, and supported. Just like a child learns faster when encouraged, you too will learn faster when you treat yourself kindly. Another powerful mindset shift is to stop comparing yourself with others. Too often, learners feel discouraged because they see someone speaking more fluently. They start believing they are behind. But the truth is, everyone has a different journey, a different pace, and a different background. Comparing yourself to others only steals your motivation. Instead, compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Did you learn one new word? Did you speak one new sentence? Did you practice for even a few minutes? That is progress, and progress, no matter how small, is success. When you adopt this mindset, you stop carrying the burden of competition and start enjoying the bridge you are walking on. Mindset also changes the way you handle fear. If you see English as a burden, fear will grow heavier every time you speak. But if you see it as a bridge, you will accept fear as part of the journey. You will know that nervousness is normal, but it cannot stop you from crossing. Fear is just the wind on the bridge. It may shake you a little, but it cannot break the bridge beneath your feet. The bridge of English is strong enough to carry you if you keep moving forward. It's also important to fill your mind with reasons to love English. Ask yourself, why am I learning this language? Maybe it is to get a better job, to travel freely, to study abroad, to make friends across the world, or simply to challenge yourself. Whatever your reason is, hold it close. When you focus on the reward, the process feels lighter. When you focus on the destination, the journey feels worthwhile. This is how mindset turns struggle into motivation. Surrounding yourself with positivity is also part of mindset. If you listen to voices that say, "It's too difficult," or "You will never be fluent," then those voices will weigh you down. But if you listen to voices that say, "You can do this," "Every mistake is progress," and "Fluency is within your reach," then your energy will rise. Motivation is not only something you create inside, it is also something you absorb from your environment. Choose carefully what voices you let into your mind. Finally, when you see English as a bridge, you begin to respect the journey. You no longer rush or complain. You understand that every day of practice is valuable, even the hard ones. You begin to trust that with patience and persistence, you will cross to the other side. And when you reach it, you will not only speak English, you will also look back and realize how much stronger, braver, and wiser you became along the way. So, my friends, learning English is not just about words, grammar, or rules. It is about transforming yourself. It is about daring to make mistakes and turning them into lessons. It is about opening your heart like a child, curious, fearless, and ready to explore. It is about showing up every single day, no matter how small the effort, because consistency creates miracles. It is about surrounding yourself with English until it becomes a part of your lifestyle, a rhythm in your daily life. It is about choosing confidence over fear, knowing that your voice matters more than perfect grammar. And above all, it is about shifting your mindset, seeing English not as a burden to carry, but as a bridge that connects you to opportunities, dreams, and a bigger world. Imagine yourself a few years from now, speaking English fluently, confidently, without hesitation. Imagine how many doors will open for you: better jobs, new friends, international opportunities, and the ability to share your story with the world. That version of you is waiting, but to reach it, you must take action today. You must start walking on that bridge, step by step, word by word, sentence by sentence, and never stop. Remember, you don't need to be perfect to begin. You just need to begin to become perfect. Your journey might be slow, your progress might be small, but if you keep moving, one day you will look back and realize that what once felt impossible has become natural. The language that once scared you will become the language that empowers you. So stand tall, believe in yourself, and take the next step with courage. Your voice matters, your story matters, and the world is waiting to hear it in English.